All right. What's going on, Gravinder? How you doing? Looks like you're the first one in here today. You win a prize, bro. Um, Fantastic week. Let's wait like 20 seconds for other people to come, and then I'll start. Even though I'm tired as hell. Anybody? All right. What's up, Ginger? How you doing? Let's just get into it, man. I'm tired. It's been a long week, very exhausting week, especially with all the war stuff. But we had, I know Bookie probably had our best days of the last couple of weeks, few weeks. What's up, Dhruv? How you doing? Yashi. Amazing day, amazing week. I think we nailed almost everything this week. Our callouts must have been like 80, 90% green. But other than that, let's go over some charts real quick. Friday, I know everyone wants to get out here. Very, very long week. What's up, Tonka? I hope you did okay. What's up, Ricky? So one thing I did want to go over, I've posted in the chart, I've posted a couple times, this QQQ, this is the death cross. So over the weekend, you can go look at historically what happens after a death cross happens. Um, Usually it's not too good right off the bat. As soon as it happens, usually there's a lot of downside. For example, let's go over one chart here. QQQ is the same almost as SPY, so we don't need to go over that, but it just did death cross. Let's see the BTC chart here. I'll get rid of all this stuff. But look, this is when the BTC, so this is just for an example, and BTC and NASDAQ are both risk assets. What's going on, Darsh? How you doing? They're both risk assets, and what I mean by that is the death cross should be treated almost the same between the NASDAQ and the Bitcoin. So this is where Bitcoin death cross last time. It was on January 15th. Look at the flush that followed, guys. January 15th, the price of Bitcoin was 43,000. Within 2 weeks, Bitcoin's price was 35,000. So it went down $8,000 within a week, guys. So we're going to QQQ now, where the death cost just occurred. I don't think we're gonna bounce and rally right back, guys. It means we're in for at least a week or two more of pain, in my opinion. And we're like, look, just, oh man, XLF will go over later. It's a Friday, guys. Sorry, I'm super tired. But yeah, here we go. Here's the Bitcoin death cross right here. And you guys see 4 or 5 days later, a huge flush happened where we bottomed. And I'm expecting mostly the same thing on QQQ here. I'm expecting a couple days of sideways, which we got. And maybe a couple more days of sideways. And then I expect a big capitulation day down. Just like this right here. This down, we got 4,000 point move down in one day on Bitcoin here. I expect something like a 10 point move down on QQQ very soon where we mark the bottom. And as you guys see, that one day that we flushed, we never lost those lows since. So expect that just because of the death cross. I do expect more pain ahead. What's up, Andrew? How you doing? SPY as well. You guys see the yellow line is the 200 day. The blue line here, the teal, whatever you want to call it, is curling down, and they are poised to match here sometime in March. When they death cross the SPY, that's when I think the QQQ bottom will be put in. That's just me guessing. I don't know what's gonna happen. What's up, other Andrew? How you doing? And QQQ death cross, SPY, we're waiting for the death cross. IWM, we had a death cross way back in the day. So IWM actually led the way in terms of death crosses. So we can use that as an example. Look, this is where it death crossed right here. As you guys see, a couple more days straight down until we put in a bottom. IWM's the weakest out of all of them on the longer term time frames, because usually it rallies first and it dumps first. So IWM is a key indicator of the markets, what SPY and QQQ are going to do. And for right now, we're just chopping in a range on IWM. SPY, same thing, kind of range bound. QQQ, still range bound. I mean, for the destruction that's happening in the markets, like if you guys look at some of these growth stocks, SPY hasn't even, like, this is nothing. I mean, SPY is off how much from its highs? If they really want to make this ugly, SPY has a lot more to come down, guys. What I mean by ugly, go look at a chart by SE. So SPY right now, from the high, SPY is only down 10.8%. You guys want to see something? I'll go to one of my favorite stocks in the market. This is what's happening underneath the service. SPY is down 10.85% from highs. SE is down 74% from highs. Dawkin. So just keep this in mind, guys. Today, this is today as well. Dawkin is down 63% from highs. It is. And the reason for that is they're holding up SPY. Anyways, getting off of that, that's macro stuff. That's longer term stuff. Right now, what's happening in the market, I believe there's a lot more volatility to come. We have inflation numbers March 10th. We have a war going on. We have the Fed meeting on March 15th, 16th. We have oil flying through the roof. Another thing I want to show you on oil, the last time we went parabolic like this on oil, 2008, right about, where's the monthly chart? Yeah, Yash, I put in a bunch of stop losses. I warned everyone in January, I believe, and it's just wrecking, bro. Look at the last time we went parabolic on oil. We went from 57 all the way to 147 in 2007, 2008. And do you guys know when the financial crisis was? Of course you do, 2008. Look what oil did. And that's exactly what the rest of the market did as well. And also in 2000 right here, no, that's 1990. Right here, 1999, oil went from $11 all the way to $36. So 3x here, 300% move, and then the dot-com bubble crash. And then you have the 2008 crisis, 50 all the way to 150, 300% increase almost. And then the financial crisis crash. And now we went from below zero. Where is oil? Oil was at negative 40, guys. Negative 40. So we're already at 116, which would make it like already way past a 3x. So keep that in mind. We could be in for a long-term correction. Make sure you have your stops in. Make sure you're very, very picky. If you're picking long-term equity, I wouldn't even touch it yet. Like me and Ricky have been saying, wait. We have to see what the Fed does. If the Fed wants to help, then maybe the market can be saved a little bit. But there's a big recession. There's something coming big. I'm telling you right now. Here's VIX slowly grinding up. Higher highs, higher lows, and it's just putting in the pattern, right? It's been holding the support line ever since. It was an ugly candle today. I mean, they crushed vol a little bit, but that's just setting up for a bigger move next week. They're cooling it off. I think VIX will go over 40 next week. What will be the catalyst? I have no idea, but let's see where it can keep grinding up to. Amazon, at the end of the day there, we took puts. I made money on one, lost money on the other. Why? Because we were just pinning 2,900. Wait, where's this volume shelf here? If you guys see this huge volume shelf here at 2,900, there's a lot of orders at 2,900. We just kind of stayed around there. So Bookie nailed the puts 2 days ago, absolutely crushed them. This morning, I think he was selling for like 200% or something. And then just sideways all day. This is a wasted trade. This is all burning premium. It doesn't matter if you're in calls, you're in puts, unless you're scalping for 1-2 seconds, 1-2 minutes here. This is all just wasted premiums on next week's puts and calls. Other than that, Amazon looks like shit. A lot of the charts look really bad right now, guys. There's not really too many investable charts right now. If my internet wants to work. Okay, so we put in a low, we put in a high, then we put in a higher low, and now we put in a lower high. So now we're just kind of range bound on a lot of these charts. The lows are in, the bounce highs are in, and now we're just consolidating. Which way do we go next? It all depends on the Fed. It depends on the inflation numbers. It depends on the war. And for me, there's just too many unknowns to start investing right now. TSM nailed these puts as well. These went over 100%. Congrats to Nilit and I think one more guy, a couple more members had them. I don't remember. But this was such an obvious bear flag, guys. They're crushed. Bear flag. Who's going to invest in Taiwan when China's flying their Air Force over the island? My long-term portfolio is down. Yeah, bro, it's tough, Yash, I'm telling you. So bear flag, breakdown, and TSM actually looks like it has much lower to go now. This just broke out of a huge base, guys. Let me show you this base real quick. And I may even roll these over. If we get a bounce next week, I may even roll over this TSM. Look at this. There's air down here. Look at this big air pocket all the way down. We can go to 90 bucks. We can go to $85. Can go to 80 bucks. So I might roll over these TSM. Look at the selling volume this week. Very, very high. If we get continuation next week, I think we dump a lot further. There's no more support here. The support is way down here. I'd say around 95 bucks next. TSM will probably roll them over. Dawkin, these puts went 200%. I sold them personally for 100%. We had the $55 puts for March 18th. Absolute perfection. Today they went, the stock itself was down over 15% at one point. And look at the flush from yesterday when we bought them, guys. $55 puts for 250 and just straight flush. I sold them here for a double, and they actually went three. I can't even talk. They actually went 200%, sorry. Congrats if you held, congrats if you took them. Here is AXP. These ones we took 160s for April for 285. They actually went up to 9 and 10 bucks today. Other than that, the only thing I would say on AXP, I do think there's more downside. I think it could come way down and test this opening wedge here around 150 even. Yes, I said 150. Even though Warren Buffett's invested, it doesn't matter. We broke down. We caught it this time. We reloaded, caught this move down as well. And then for the 50-day moving average, what happened was it defended it for 2 days before breaking down, right? So maybe the same pattern plays out Monday, Tuesday. It protects the 200-day, or buyers protect the 200-day, and then we flush down further. That's a possibility on AXP. I will be looking for more puts on this one if we get a bounce Monday, Tuesday. Etsy, absolute beauty as well. Took these puts at 5. 150 puts March 18th for 5. They're going for about 9 something right now. Bookie even took another layer of them. He hates Etsy so much. I think he ordered something off them and it didn't work or something. But anyways, Etsy growth stock. It's a very simple short. I have no idea why it's up 5 days in a row. It should come right back down to lows. I'm not joking. They're just punishing growth stocks badly. And right now it just looks like it's curling over for more lows. It looks like it's going to H over as well. Other than that, I mean, looks fantastic. Market continues weak. The only troubling part is the low selling volume. This is coming down just because of market sentiment, I think. It's not because people are actually selling out. I think it's more market sentiment than anything. And let's see what happens next week. Market weakness continues. I think Etsy goes right back down to 109, 110, which is the previous low here. JPM, another puts that we took yesterday. 135 puts for March 11th. These ones went about 200%. I sold most around 150. Very obvious again. Banks were super ugly. Breakdown, bear flag, breakdown. So I know like a lot of people were saying like you shouldn't have held that many puts overnight. You shouldn't have done this. You got lucky with the headlines. But honestly, if you look at the news, if you look around the world, look at Twitter, how much good news could possibly come out? They say the war's over. That just means the Fed's going to raise rates more. They say the war's not over, then they're blowing up nuclear plants, and we get paid on puts anyway. So I'd rather hold puts overnight than calls. Calls are just for scalps for me. I will not hold calls overnight anymore. I did on Wednesday. We got paid on them, and I learned my lesson right after they crashed. After we got paid, of course. EA, this is a beautiful setup. I like. We took 125 puts for March 18th. Clear head and shoulders here for all the new members. I'll draw it out for you guys. But it's pretty obvious. The shoulder, head, shoulder. Clear neckline. Clear breakdown. And we closed on an inverted hammer, which shows me that we're probably going to go down there. And the next level for EA is 120. So we'll be $5 in the money if this does play out properly. Other than that, I mean, beautiful chart, beautiful setup. There's less volume down here, so it should move more freely. Once it gets underneath 125.50-ish, it should move easier. And let's see what happens. We got a lot of time. OPEX, the market looks like trash. Or it's weak, it's super weak. TTWO looks much better than EA, so I'm glad I took EA instead of TTWO. Why? It's almost the exact same setup on Head and Shoulders. But today they announced that EA wasn't selling anything in Russia and Belarus anymore. TTWO did not say that. And look at the difference in the candles. You can see it. This is a hammer candle on the daily, where EA was an inverted hammer on the daily. So it looks like we got the right one. Let's see if we can get followed through and get in the money on these ones. Tesla will do. Tesla 830 was a big level for me. I had it drawn out from time since this last save right here. So today I had the puts. I covered them for about 30% at 830. Why? Just because that level was big for me. I had that line drawn out from a long time ago. And other than that, I mean, Tesla, everything just looks weak, man. There's not much to talk about. All these charts look weak unless you're talking about BTU or PBR or WTI or the commodities. Everything looks weak. Tech is destroyed. Everything is destroyed. Growth is destroyed. Tesla right now, technically it's still a bull flag, but what I don't like is you see how on this downtrend, this is very important about a downtrend, guys. We get a downtrend, it's not going to go straight down in a line. So what it does is downtrend, a quick rally with a lower high. You see how they put in a lower high here? This is very important. So we're watching a downtrend. We get big rallies. The fastest, hardest rallies happen in a bear market. But as long as you're making lower highs, it's still a downtrend. You guys see this? Like we ran from 980 to 1115 on Tesla in 2 days. And that's a huge move in 2 days. And then they slapped it right back down. They bounced it again, put in a lower high. Then they just kind of chopped it, dumped it again, and now they put in a lower high on the bounce. So as long as these downtrends come on, they're not going to go straight down. They're going to give you a little bounce and then lower, little bounce and then lower, little bounce and then lower, chop, 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 and then dump. And then they just keep doing that. And people keep buying the dip. They'll buy the dip here thinking this is the bottom of Tesla. And then they bounce it, they're super happy, and then they dump it right back lower. Then they buy this dip, and then they bounce it back. They're like, oh, I caught the bottom, and then they just dump it lower. And I'm sure people bought this dip, and they're thinking the exact same thing. I bought the bottom, I'm going to hold this forever, I'm going to be a millionaire because Tesla's going to the moon. And now they're just going to dump it further, in my opinion. So keep an eye out for these kinds of trends. Whenever they're putting in lower highs, it's very important to note because you can buy every single dip. You'll run out of money before the market actually makes sense. CLF. This is the only short. I left this one at the end on purpose. This is the only short that scares me because it's a commodity company. It's a steel company. And steel, materials, oil, commodities are absolutely on fire. It's the only short that scares me. The only reason I'm still holding is because we have April's and the premiums are moving okay on it. If we get a reversal anytime in the next 2-3 weeks, those puts will probably be green because I've just been watching the premium on them. Any type of down move, any type of consolidation, I think will be green on those puts. So I'm giving them a little bit of time. But honestly, it's the only one that scares me because this one could go absolutely nuts. Just like BTU, just like PBR, like look at these charts. They don't care. When commodities start running, inflation is hyping. This is a beautiful chart. Look at this this is a cup and handle to perfection. Cup, handle, and blast off. And now the next stop is probably $37 on BTU. BTU, you have WTI is the same thing. Like look at this, just huge run. Corn, copper, wheat. This is another one. Wheat limit up every single day. Copper is FCX. This one is beautiful as well. Look at this breakout. I know me and Matt were looking at this one last year. This is beautiful bull flag. Huge breakout. All these commodities are ones to watch if you want to go long, guys. Airbnb. Yeah, we'll do TGX as well. Airbnb. Again, we went over this already, Bucky. Like, we had very clear levels. We were range bound for 2 days, I think, right about here. You asked me about it right here on February 28th. And I said, this is the high and this is the low that I would take. That's it. 155.10, I would stop out of the short. And 148, I would add onto the short. We ended up breaking over, false breakout. It sucked in all the longs, stopped all the shorts, and then they dumped it right back down the next day. If you sold it on this break and got back in, you still got paid, but obviously you had a light position, you held. I honestly, when it broke back below this 155.10, I would have added back to my position. I would have added more to my position. Why? Because this is obviously a fake breakup then. It hit this resistance and it turned right down. Let me zoom in for you. So we had this day. It was a very obvious. We had an inside day, broke bullish. But we could not get through these 2 days, which is the resistance now. Look at all the moving averages resistance. Look at these 2 days resistance. So right when it rejected there and rejected, you could have added more even cheaper up here. And when it came down and broke this low of February 28th, which was 148.30, you could have even added there. That's how you be an aggressive bear. Obviously, you know what you're doing great. But just this one trade alone, you could have added 3 times on this trade. If you wanted like a perfect trade, like an A++ trade. Other than that, looks absolutely fantastic. If we go and take out this 141, close below 141 now on Airbnb, there's no doubt in my mind 135 trades on it. Other than that, I mean, it's going with the rest of the market. Market's weak. It's a growth stock. It's gonna get crushed. TJX, I'll do TJX, and then it's a weekend, guys. You know, we gotta go do some stuff. TJX here. What do we got? Oh yeah, I think someone sent this in the chat earlier. It's an absolutely beautiful breaking down from support. This is a weekly chart, guys. Let's see this right here. This one right here. Yeah, it just looks very topped out, guys. And we're breaking through support. We closed below this support for the first time since March. And I wouldn't even count this. You can even move this down a little bit. So we're right at support, maybe. It's very close to here. We're right at support. If we go below today's low, so today's low was $62. $62 on TJX. Under $62 on TJX, what I would do is I would take 55s or 50 puts at least 3 to 4 weeks out. Just looking at the chart, I can tell it moves very slow. It's not as volatile as the other names. How much did we move today? We opened at 65, we closed at 62.50. So it moved a total of $2.50 all day. So what you have to take into, this is a volatile day for the stock and it only moved $2.50. You have to keep those puts close and give yourself time. What I would do personally, I would do 57.50s or $55 puts for March 18th. And if those were a good price and the premium was moving right, that's how I would play TJX. But it absolutely looks like a clear short. My first target on it would be the 200-day moving average, which is around 58.25. And other than that, thank you guys for attending. I hope you guys had a great week. I had a great week. I'm pretty sure most of my stock life had a great week. And if you didn't, maybe you have to study on your trades, what you did right, what you did wrong the last week. And I will see you guys Sunday or Monday. Have a good weekend, y'all.